Please wait for the microphone to come around if you have a question, and we'll start with an opening statement from Coach Evans.
All right. Well, we're obviously excited to be hosting. It's something we've worked hard at all year long. When we had our first team meeting, we talked about our responsibility to this program is to put ourselves in a position to host regionals and super regionals. And although we fell a little short on the super regional right now, the only thing that's in our mind that's important is that we're hosting regionals, we're at home, and a chance for us to gain some momentum. The field is a great field with all the Texas teams. There's lots of familiarity for us. We've played Texas last year in postseason. We played Texas State already this season, and Texas Southern we haven't seen in many years, but we're excited to get the opportunity to play them.
Questions for the student athletes? Cease?
Riley, can you talk about during this time off, what has the hitters done possibly? You guys have slumped a little bit at the end, not what you were doing before. What have you worked on to get ready for regionals?
When we came back from the SEC tournament, Coach Glasgow was really adamant about not trying to reinvent the wheel, really just to be more sharp and pick pitches we can drive hard. And we've been preparing for any option this weekend, whoever we face. And, of course, our first plan of attack is to go get those Texas Southern pitchers.
Travis?
Riley, for you personally, I know there's some videos out there comparing you to some Major League Baseball hitters. What has your work been like, even during the offseason and through the year this year, to kind of change your swing and kind of in relation to that video, what you've done with, I think, working with baseball coaches or something like that?
So I worked with Dan Ortmeyer. He played for the Giants. I worked with him over the summer, and we just kind of tweaked some things. You know, I wasn't really happy with my overall performance from my freshman year. We didn't really change too much, and when that video came out, it was pretty cool, but it was funny. We were actually trying to make my swing look like Josh Donaldson, so it was kind of cool to get that comparison, but that's not really the swing I use anymore. Me and Glasgow worked really hard this fall and getting more of a softball-based swing and really attacking the rise ball and being able to hit all those kinds of pitches.
Coach, with the all-Texas field and the familiarity with all the teams with each other, what are you and your players kind of expecting from an atmosphere standpoint this weekend?
Well, we expect it to be a great atmosphere. You know, we also know because everybody's so close within a couple hours that they're going to travel well. So we expect to have some burnt orange in the stands and some black and red and some maroon from Texas State. So we're looking forward to it, and it's really important to us that we get a good crowd out because we know that there are going to be opposing fans in the stands. But I think the atmosphere is going to be great. I don't know another regional in the country, I don't know if ever, that there's been teams from all just that state and so close to each other. So it lends itself to being a really great atmosphere.
Kind of piggybacking off that, Sam, I'll ask you a question since nobody's asked you yet. Being from Texas and a lot of these players playing around the state, do you have any friends that play for any of these other teams? And have you talked with them at all as you guys have been gearing up for this weekend?
Yeah, actually, I have a close friend that plays for Texas Southern. We went to high school together. And actually, when it was announced that we were playing there, like, my first thought was, I get to see heaven. Like, that was really cool, and we've kind of communicated, but it just kind of goes back to playing summer ball, and it's comfortable almost to know that we've faced each other before and that it's going to be a battle no matter who we're playing.
Over to the back, John.
Sam, the way that the regular season ended and then just the one game in the SEC tournament, do you feel like now that the tournament in the NCAA tournament's here, it's kind of a fresh start?
Oh, definitely. I think that right now we have a lot of fire under us, and we have that determination to come out swinging, and we're swinging hard.
Any more questions for the student athletes? Track? We're good? Anyone? All right. Thanks, ladies. Y'all can go to practice, and we'll open it up for questions for Coach Evans.
Joe, other than being at home, when you look at where your team was last year going into region postseason tournament and this year, what's the key differences you see with your team this year?
We're just more solid all the way around. You know, we've played great defense all year, and we've had a couple of games where we weren't our best, but you look at our fielding percentage, it's one of the best in the country. So we've improved on that. We worked really hard at it in the offseason to do that. Our pitching staff is deeper and better. We have more tools. We have 4 pitchers who are very different from each other, so we're able to give different looks depending on different matchups, which that wasn't always the case for us before. So those things really stand out to me as being improved areas that we've worked really hard on to get ourselves, you know, in a position we're in right now to be one of the top seeds.
John?
Joe, how big is your experience factor? You've been to 16 straight tournaments. How big a factor can that play with your group having so much postseason experience?
Well, you know, it's just important for us to remember that, who we are. It's important that we remember our history. And the expectation is this is where you're supposed to be, and you're supposed to win it. And we're supposed to be playing in the College World Series. And so we're still a young team. I don't know if people really recognize that, but, you know, we're starting four sophomores in our lineup and the rest juniors and 1 freshman. And so we still have room to grow. But my hope is that our maturity level is such that we understand this stage and what it's like and what's expected. So you know, this is a year where we've worked really hard to take a turn, you know, to make a turn, and we've done that in the SEC. It's our best SEC season to this date, and so it's an opportunity for us to get out and take that experience with us into the regionals.
Travis in front.
Coach, what have you seen from Riley and her development as a hitter and her swing, especially some of this work that she did through the offseason and through the season?
Well, Riley's always been a really hard worker, so there's nobody who will outwork Riley. She's here at night when no one else is around, under the lights, hitting, and she worked hard last year. What's different, I think, is that she's been able to relax a bit and not overthink. Riley's really smart. She's one of those high IQ kids, and she's a thinker. And sometimes those kids can think too much. And so this year, what I've seen from her is she's able to sort of relax and trust all her hard work and be more instinctual in how she plays the game instead of trying to calculate exactly what this is going to look like and exactly how these things are going to play out, you know, which pitch is coming and what I'm going to hit. Sometimes she would get a little too bogged down with that, a little too much information. And so now I think she's gotten a lot better at just relaxing and playing the game and trusting all her hard work.
Over here to Zach.
Coach, talking about getting bogged down mentally at the plate, do you feel like your team has been doing that a little bit lately with the offense struggling at times?
Yeah, you know, last year I just felt like we were a lot more consistent at the plate. And our pitchers gave up a bunch of runs, and our mentality offensively was, okay, we'll score one run more than the other team. If they were to score 12, we're going to score 13. And this year's kind of flipped a little on us. But I think consistency is the key for us. And I do think that our team was pressing a bit offensively. And you can see that throughout our season. At times we're relaxed and we're aggressive and we're scoring a bunch of runs, and other times we're a little more tentative. So it's really important for us, if we're going to make a run in this postseason, which we feel like we have the talent to do it, we're going to need to see our offense relax and attack. And, you know, it's not a matter of do they work hard enough? Do we spend enough time getting reps? Do we want it? Do we have a great attitude? We have all of that. We just don't want to be the try too hard hitters. We don't want to get up there too tight, pressing, wringing our hands, and then frustrated when things don't go our way.
Coach, do you think that with the field and the regional, this is kind of like the perfectly timed mind eraser for everything that happened with you guys in the roller coaster kind of last 2-3 weeks? You think this is like the perfectly timed regional to get the girls focused on something else?
Yeah, it's nice to be done with school. It's nice that, you know, we kind of joke about being paid to play right now. And so that's fun. They can be focused on having some fun with their teammates. We're out of the SEC, which is a grind week in and week out. But that prepares us for the new grind that we're about to face. But it's nice because it feels like a mini season, like a completely different season than what we've been a part of. And that's good. You know, we needed a fresh look, and we needed some time to be on the practice field to really break some things down and feel better about ourselves. So I'm really pleased that we've had that opportunity. The silver lining about losing to Alabama early in that tournament is that we got to come back and have some really tough, challenging practices, pay attention to some details that when you're in the middle of the SEC conference play, you really don't get to do. So we've used that to our advantage.
Any other questions for Coach Evans? All right, thanks.
All right, thank you.